And I tell you what, this is supposed to be the start of some great experiment with talk radio, 2 hours every weekday morning from 10 o'clock until 12 o'clock. And I don't know. You can get on the phones right now. What's the number? 231-1977. You people can make it a lot easier on me today by getting on the telephones right now and make me feel a lot more at ease, and we'll just talk about anything goes the first day. Now, for a couple of 6, 7 months.
Feel better working the mornings alone? No, I trust. You feel better working the mornings
I tell you, Gene, here's the problem. Okay, I did talk for 11, 12 years on another station, but I have not run a board for 15 years. And I was real apprehensive about the idea of coming in here and running this board, you know, all the...
I think you're doing very well. I mean, when you consider all the switches you have and the way that you do operate, Neal, I think, by the way, I want to welcome you.
Thank you, Gene.
I used to listen to you all the time when I was going to high school.
You know what made me feel good, though, Gene, is that I walked in here at 5 minutes to 10, I saw Wade Medlock running this board. And I figured that if Wade Medlock can handle the board, I'm not going to have any problem. Now, folks, if I seem to be fumbling around here a little bit, it's not really for something to say. It's trying to figure out which one of these buttons to push next. And the button I most like to push when I'm doing a program like this is the one that puts telephone calls on the air, and I'm going to do that right now. And from Norcross, you're on WGST.
Good afternoon, Mr. Barnes.
You couldn't wait, could you?
I couldn't wait. I've been waiting for 35 minutes, man. I got to say something about Chernenko, man.
Oh, about Chernenko.
Yeah, same thing you said a long time ago. You know, you don't say something bad about somebody's dead, but he's dead. That's good.
Well, no, it's what Dave Gardner used to say about Eleanor Roosevelt.
What that is?
Well, he said he'd start talking about Eleanor Roosevelt during his little comedy skit.
Okay.
And then he'd stop in the middle of it and say, well, you ain't supposed to say something about dead people unless it's good.
Yeah.
Well, she's dead. Good.
You said that about Sloppy Floyd getting in a lot of trouble, I remember.
No, I didn't say that about Sloppy Floyd. Sloppy Floyd was one of my heroes. But now, Chernenko, what real difference did Chernenko have one way or the other on the history of the world?
Not very much in 1 year, man. He went down the tube fast, set his bucket down real quick.
Wonder if he was a smoker.
Probably so, man.
Was it emphysema that got him?
Jay, I got the question for you, technical question.
Shoot.
First, let me tell you, my wife drives real quick, real fast.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I had to take her down to NASA and have heat tiles put on her car. No joke.
Okay.
The only thing she does faster is talk. She talks, she talks so fast. I mean, she never inhales, man. She just gets smaller when she talks,
Right.
But my question is, if you're traveling as fast as light, can you turn your headlights on,
Are we going to get into this kind of nonsense right off the bat here?
I'm just trying to cheer you up, man.
Well...
on the right foot.
Okay, the question then is, if you're traveling faster than the speed of light, can you turn your headlights on?
Well, they work.
Yes, but you'll overtake them. They'll actually be shining behind you.
Oh, shoot.
Now, you probably drew, you drew that question, obviously, from the Concorde question that we used to deal with quite a lot, and that is...
Everything goes, yes.
Well, if you're sitting on the Concorde, zipping across at Mach 2.3 across the Atlantic Ocean on the way from London to Rio, can you talk to the person in the seat next to you? And, of course, no, you cannot, which is one of the reasons the Concorde is suffering and not having the passenger traffic. Even though it's fast, nobody likes to sit and be quiet for that length of time.
Yes, you say something in California, you're going to leave what you said about Nevada.
Well, when you go subsonic again, it all catches up with you, and it sounds like a big jumble, and it's a bad... I appreciate you calling, though.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you're going to stay tuned to this nonsense, aren't you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, what?
Yes, ma'am.
Man?
Ma'am.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure we didn't have any misunderstandings.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you for calling. Be good.
Bye.
Go to Jonesboro real quick, and you're on WGST.
Yeah, welcome aboard, Neal.
Thank you.
I was just wondering if you'd had seen in the Saturday's Atlanta Journal-Constitution the little article back in the back of the A section about the Birmingham had selected the racetrack site. Had you seen that?
Dog or horse?
Horse track. They said it was it's on the east side of Birmingham.
It would be. Can you imagine why they'd put it on the east side of Birmingham?
Easily accessible to Atlanta.
Sure.
And they said that...
How about near Anniston? That'd be a good place for it.
Yeah, really. They said that they think about September 1986 will be the completion date, and that may be the date for the city of Atlanta to start going down for conventions and everything else.
Can I suggest that instead of a bullet train to Savannah, maybe we need a bullet train to Birmingham?
Sounds like a good idea to me.
Can you believe that we went through yet another session of the Georgia General Assembly without those people over there giving any serious consideration at all to the idea of either a state lottery or pari-mutuel betting in the state of Georgia?
Tom Murphy's on the ball again, isn't he?
If I could think of any person, I would like to buy a one-way ticket out of the state of Georgia. You know, buy him a place to live, set him up in some kind of a job, but just get him out of the state, it would be Tom Murphy. I can think of no greater personification than the old Georgia suspender-wearing county politician than Tom Murphy. And I wish I could understand what kind of a hold it is he has on the other members of the General Assembly. Why they walk in absolute awe of that man and cannot seem to get any... You know, if he's not for something, he's the show. It's gone.
It's awesome, really is. I'll see you in Birmingham, September 86th.
Oh, yeah. Well, as long as it's horse racing. I'm not too particularly fond of dog racing, Emma. For instance, whether or not to have a 1 week or a 3-day rule or a 2-day rule, how often people can call. The only parameter that I know of is that when we're sitting on open lines like this, generally going from one subject to another, there is nothing that is taboo. Those of you that can go back into the 1970s on my previous lifetime would know that there's not many subjects that we won't talk about. Got a call from Jonesboro, and you're on WGST. Jonesboro, go ahead. Jonesboro, you're on the air. Soon to be off the air. Let's give them one more tone and see if they can respond. Jonesboro, you're on the air. And Jonesboro... I'll just put them on hold. Mary, if you can talk to the folks from Jonesboro and remind them how to get on the air with us. By the way, if you noticed in the paper this morning, Skybus, that's that Frontier Airlines out of Denver, Colorado, is actually, they're the ones that want to fly out of Charlie Brown Airport with $99 fares from here to there. I guess 99. We'll just call it cut rate fares. They're actually interviewing for jobs in Atlanta, even though most of the people have told them, and most of the news stories and everything have been very negative about their chances of getting scheduled commercial air traffic out of the Charlie Brown Airport. Charlie Brown Airport doesn't qualify, have a lot of work, a lot of security work, many other things that have to be done to that airport to line it up for commercial traffic. Nonetheless, Skybus is actually out there interviewing for jobs. Boy, talk about pressure. That's a great way to put some pressure on some folks, is to interview for jobs, have a lot of people with job applications in on the line, and then have the county commission tell you, no, you cannot have your Airbus out of Atlanta. All those people who have applied for the jobs won't be able to work. That won't go off very well. Fulton Industrial District, you're on WGST.
Neal?
They're coming out of the woodwork today, yes.
Oh, I'm so happy. Wait a minute, you said I was supposed to say, I said Fulton, and said about industrial now.
Well, now you on the air, so you talk. Say your piece.
Neal, I'm just so happy to hear you today. I'm one of your old-time listeners from way back. And, of course, I hear you every Tuesday and Wednesday. You know, you're my style of...
Oh, you mean with Houck?
Huh? Yes, for Tom Houck. I wouldn't miss that program for anything.
Well, now, who in the world are we going to put on Tuesday and Wednesday to keep Houck on us?
You need to get back on there.
Oh, no. I you know, I'm going to be doing this bit in the morning now, and Houck's going to have to sink or swim on his own.
I know. Now, Neal, I have an eye problem, and sometime I need to talk with you personally so you can help me get this eye problem corrected.
What, is your hairdresser giving you a hard time again?
No, it's just 3 operations, and I can't get nothing successful going from it.
I'm not a doctor.
Well, I know, but you can refer me someplace to go.
I don't know any doctor. I try to stay away from doctors, don't you?
Yeah, well, Neal, all right, I thought you could help.
Well, you call me sometime. We'll see what I can do.
All right, Neal, now have a good show, and tell Laura and say hello.
Okay, I will. Laura's my daughter, for those of you that are wondering. Gene, you have something for us?
Yeah,
Gene
Neal,
Blaine.
before you get to the next call, we have just received word in the news center that the White House has announced that President Reagan will not go to the Soviet Union to attend the funeral of Konstantin Chernenko. There's no word yet on who will head the U.S. delegation, but President Reagan is not going to make that trip.
It's really not much of a surprise, though, is it? Since he's been in office, 2 leaders have died in the Soviet Union, and he hasn't made one of those trips.
And I was just informed that the Soviets have named a new leader, but we don't know yet who that
Who's heading the funeral delegation?
Gorbachev.
That's got to be him.
Gorbachev.
Probably.
Gorbachev. We got to get used to the whole new way of pronouncing a new name now.
Oh, boy. Why can't they find a Joe Jones over there?
That's Joe Jones in Russian is Mikhail Gorbachev.
Oh, okay. 24 minutes after 10 o'clock. Next phone call from Marietta. You're on WGST.
Hey, son, this is your dad here. You told me to call you about this time today.
Yeah, right.
I was just wondering when you was going to give me the money.
Yeah, you're going to have to come up with something a little bit more serious to talk with than this.
Okay, well, I just want to say welcome on there, and just as soon as I can find out where you're coming from, which way we're at right there, I'll have some more constructive conversation.
Well, where do you want me to come from?
Yeah, I'm going to have to figure you out first. I remember you from the old radio station. I don't know where I can take any more of them.
Well, I'm probably not the same person. A lot of water under the bridge in the last 5 years, you know.
Well, I'm going to check you about April 1st and see if we got any more porpoises that's attacking boats in the Pacific.
Well, now, don't be hard on my porpoises, because that's really quite valid.
Well, I wouldn't have been so hard if it hadn't caused me great concern for about 2 weeks there.
Did we get you?
You got me, though.
Good. I got tapes of that. Maybe someday we'll replay them.
Yeah, you do that. Talk to you later.
Thank you, sir. Decatur, you're on WGST. Go ahead.
Hey, Neal, how you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Well, that's good. I'm one of your old listeners from way back, and this is my first time of calling you. I was a truck driver, and I never had the chance to call you, but I will always listen to you. And it's nice to hear you again, back on the air.
Okay, where do you want to see me coming from with this little experiment?
Well, I always did enjoy your show, regardless which way you was coming. But one thing I knew is you have mellow over the years. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you seem like you've got a little more understanding.
Well, I don't have enough energy to be as much of a as I was maybe 10 years ago this time. That takes work. That takes work to put on that kind of a front to make people believe that you're kindless and cruel and cold-hearted and all that sort of thing.
Yes, I understand that. Like I said, I'm not working now, and I've got to make this short. I was cooking. I had to get up and fix my wife dinner before she get home and everything. I have to clean up. So I'm going out to...
Sounds like I'm not the only one that's mellowed.
Yeah, I have to. But what I really want to talk to you about, how far do you think Tech and Georgia would get in ACC, tournament?
You mean how far would Georgia get in the ACC tournament?
Yeah, and Tech, both of them.
Well, we know how far Tech got.
I'm telling you, in this tournament coming up,
the NCAA?
Yeah.
I don't know. By the way, you don't happen to have a ticket for the Georgia game Friday afternoon, do you?
No. I was hoping that I could see it on television.
I gave you my post office box. You happen to have one.
No, I don't have a post office box. But I have an address. You have some tickets you want to send me?
I've been watching the Georgia basketball team a lot more than I've been watching the Tech basketball team, and I guess that this ACC tournament over the weekend convinced me that Tech is for real. Up until now, I thought that maybe they'd just been the benefactor of an awful lot of good breaks. But maybe they are for real, and they're both going to the NCAA, and you know what the dream would be. Is it possible to have... No, it's not possible to have them playing each other in the finals, is it?
Because they play each other before they get to the finals.
Well, let's each one of them go as far as they possibly can, and then play each other.
Right.
And would that be a game?
It would be.
Would I get a kick out of that? Thank you for calling, sir.
Neal, nice hearing from you again.
Okay, it is about 28 minutes after 10 o'clock right now. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Yes, Neal, I really got to hand it to your program coordinator. Now, how did she get Chernenko to die the same day your radio show premiered?
Well, I was thinking about that. I was in the office this morning saying, what can I get stirred up? And it occurred to me that the leader of one of the most powerful nations on the earth dies, and they go through their rather bizarre leadership succession scenario over there, and I, for the life of me, cannot think of anything interesting to say about it on the radio. I don't know anything about Chernenko or Gorbachev or whatever his name is. I don't know what it's going to do.
Yeah, but a year from today, we'll be riding into work listening to Tom and Wade in the morning, and they'll go, and 1 year ago today, Konstantin Chernenko died, and hey, didn't Neal start his radio show today, too?
Well, now, actually, which is more important... I'm sorry.
Are you going to have guests on this show?
Oh, yeah, probably about half and half.
I've got an idea for your first guest.
I want to get Richard Bach in here.
Richard Bach?
Yeah. Jonathan Livingston Seagull. Yeah, I've been reading a lot of the books he wrote lately, and so I'm asking Mary to try to get him. I think he shuns interviews, though.
Well, the guy I was thinking of, he also does some writing.
Who's that?
Otis Brumby. Tom would be so jealous.
Oh, goodness. You were listening to that last week. Tom is so upset. Houck, We're talking about Houck. He's so upset because Otis Brumby won't send him any copies of the Marietta, what's the name of that paper?
Daily Journal.
The Daily Journal. And this is a real bad time for Tom. Well, we'll work on Otis Brumby. Do you think he'd be interesting?
Oh, not necessarily. I just think it'd be funny to, while you were in there in the studio, you lock the door and you listen to the knob being turned and jiggled the whole time with Tom trying to get the paper from him.
True enough. Thanks for calling.
Have a nice one.
Okay, bye-bye. 10:35 here on WGST, and we're going to go to Toco Hills next year on the air.
Good morning, Neil.
Yes, ma'am.
Welcome back to Talk Radio.
Well, thank you.
I don't live in Druid Hills area. I'm not a member of Caution, and I'm not a road buster, but I'm in complete sympathy with and agreement with the aims and ambitions of that group, namely to stop the Presidential Parkway. And it seems ironical to me that in Saturday's paper was a big headline that the Methodists are going to award President Carter of the worldwide award, whatever, for peace. And of course, there's
Well, you know, now some people's idea of peace is just an absence of conflict.
yeah, well,
That, to me, well, that's the classic Soviet definition of peace, is an absence of conflict. But an absence of conflict can exist in a slavery situation, too, or a totalitarian situation, so.
sure, I realize that.
Award him any prize you want, I guess.
What?
Award Carter anything they want. I don't think that he did that much for peace, personally.
Right, but I think it's very ironical that he will not even meet with a group right outside his own door, within a mile of Emory University, where the big award is to take place.
On the road issue?
No, they're going.
Well, you mean the group that he doesn't want to meet with is the Roadbusters?
Right.
Do you really expect the great Jimmy Carter, former president of the United States of America, to want to get embroiled in some sort of a long discussion with a group of people that want to stop a road?
Well, apparently not, because he certainly hadn't done it or given any indication.
I think the Roadbusters have won. I mean, in the last couple of days, my perception of that situation has been changing. I don't think the thing's ever going to be built. Now, they can take those bridges they're building over there and turn them into open-air picnic pavilions or something like that.
What?
Picnic pavilions.
Yeah, right. Well, I agree with you. I hope it won't be built. I'm not going to live in that area, but
Well, ma'am, if I had my druthers, I'd take the Stone Mountain Expressway and extend it right through that area, tie up over there with Scott Boulevard, go right by Stone Mountain and run all the way into Athens with a 4 or 6 lane expressway. You probably don't agree with that assessment, do you?
Well, I hadn't even given that a thought.
Well, it's easy for me to say I don't live anywhere near the area.
But yeah, right. I don't either. But if now it's their neighborhood, next time it could be your neighborhood or mine.
Well, my house already backs up onto the perimeter, so they can't make it any.
Can't do much worse unless they put one in front of you.
No, I guess not.
Okay, thanks, Neil.
Thanks for the call. Thank you. Thank you.
I want to talk about the genocide treaty.
Oh, I'm just laughing. It's another old subject coming to the fore, but they're trying to ratify that sucker again up there, aren't they?
Indeed. And I was just wondering now what you know about it.
What I know about it?
Everything?
No, not everything, but
present form.
I know. Now, they haven't made any changes in the treaty, have they?
Not to my knowledge.
The Bricker Amendment is still out?
I think so.
Okay.
All right. Now,
I do know this.
Yes.
I do know that under the strict definition of genocide, as it's contained in the Genocide Treaty, that if I said something on the air here at WGST that hurt Joseph Lowry's feelings,
right.
You know, just said something that hurt his feelings,
right.
I could be guilty under the terms of that treaty for genocide.
Right, mental genocide.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Now, I understand that this just applies to individuals and perhaps organizations, but not governments.
Oh, also understand that the Genocide Treaty used to include political genocide until the Soviet Union insisted that the term political be removed before they'd ratify it.
Exactly. Now, that's what I understand, and I just thought you might know and could confirm
well,
what I think is true.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to keep a good, close eye on the Senate, because that's where the ratification has to take place.
Yes, and I understand that Senator Nunn has said that he will sign that thing.
Senator Nunn voted for the Panama Canal Treaty, so forth. You know, why? I hope you're not surprised.
No, I really am not.
So, you know, don't be surprised that Sam Nunn's going to sign that.
And can't seem to get anything from Mattingly.
But
in a direct answer.
Maybe Mattingly hasn't studied the situation close enough to respond to it yet.
Yes, well, I hope he gets around to it.
Well, I'll tell you what, as time goes on, we will set aside at least an hour here on the program somewhere to talk about the Genocide Treaty, because we've got to get past this idea that the media likes to promote, that it is it is simply a treaty to outlaw genocide. That may be the title, but it certainly goes a long way beyond that in its implementation, and we will spend some time talking about that. Got a call from South Cobb. Go ahead. Sir, you're going to have to turn your radio down. We're on a delay system. It's going to confuse you. South Cobb, turn the radio off, and we'll...
Good morning.
Yeah. Okay, ma'am. When you turn the radio down, give us a call back. I meant to put you on hold, but I cut you off, but we'll give you another shot. Avondale, you're on WGST. Go ahead.
Neal.
Yes.
Where do you get off telling us you had to work hard to put up a front? I want the old abrasive Neal on the attack.
I'm not so sure that he's still around.
Oh, you're not?
No.
But we either loved him or we hated him, but boy, we sure listened to him.
Well, I know, but isn't there a middle ground somewhere?
I don't know. Not when you start in on modern art.
Well, now my
some of your commentaries, Neal.
Okay, my feeling on modern art has not changed a bit. I still go under the basic concept that if I can duplicate it, it ain't art. And most of the stuff hanging in the Richard Russell Federal Office Building I can duplicate, so it ain't art.
Well,
I mean, anybody can take a piece of canvas and throw paint at it.
True. Now, I want to tell you something. If you want to get something started, try to find out why they're sitting on the results of the promotion test in the police department.
I thought that they were going to be making promotions on that sometime soon.
Well, see if you can pry it loose.
They're still sitting on it?
Yeah.
Well, you know how long that's been going on. How long's it been since there have been any promotions in that department?
Well, but they've had the test. The test was like, what, 6 weeks ago? 2 months? How long does it take to grade a multiple-choice test?
I don't know. You got me on that one.
Uh-huh.
Well, we'll have George Napper in here sometime. He might enjoy coming over here sometime and just having me in the studio.
2 weeks ago.
Well, I know, but he was here with Houck.
And I talked to him. And I asked him, and he said, we're going to release the results tomorrow or Friday. That was on a Wednesday?
Yeah.
That was weeks ago.
And he hasn't released them yet?
Nope. Dig into it.
Okay. I'll just start making a list here of things I got to dig into.
And you're going to find out. It's going to be interesting.
They have turned off their radio. Yes, ma'am.
How are you today?
I'm fine. Great.
Wonderful.
Super. Fantastic.
I think I know why you said you tried to stay away from doctors. And yes, and I just want to make another point. I keep making it over and over. In Georgia, we desperately need an informed consent law. Right now, we have a consent law which gives that doctor just about leeway to do anything he wants to do, and it's pretty hard to take him to court unless he does something so outrageous that nobody can ignore it.
Yeah, Georgia is one of the most difficult states in the nation to get a doctor into a courtroom.
Oh, I'm so glad you're aware of that.
Oh, I'm very aware of that.
Before they sign that little consent form, they won't even talk to you in the hospital. You know that.
I get sort of a kick out of the General Assembly, and I haven't read the bill yet, I haven't read the law, but I think they just worked on the statute of limitations on medical negligence in this session of the General Assembly.
Mm-hmm.
And these legislators are always very fond of saying, and this will lower the price of malpractice insurance and lower the cost of medical care for Georgians. What they don't say is that, and this will also make it very difficult for people who are the victims of negligent medical care to ever be compensated for their pain and suffering.
In fact, the doctor, I was so damaged, he wouldn't even talk to me, and I caught him in the hall in the hospital one day, and he said, you better see a surgeon about that damaged lump on your leg, and it turned out it was a damaged muscle, and he caused it. I never could get through to him again, ever.
Well,
I'd impart this information to you.
I have a lot of admiration for doctors. I really do.
Some are good. Some of them are really good.
Many of them are. Most of them perhaps are. It's a tremendous profession. We all owe a great deal to them. But on the other hand, if the members of the Georgia General Assembly cared as much about the rights of Georgians as doctors do about the price of their malpractice insurance, then Georgians would have a lot easier time getting a bad doctor into a courtroom.
Absolutely.
But the doctors have some very good friends in the General Assembly, and we must not forget that.
I'm aware of the system down there, and you are so right.
Okay, thanks for calling, ma'am.
Well, thank you. Enjoy talking to you.
Call us back, 231-1977, 12 minutes until 11 o'clock. And from Tucker, you're on WGST.
Oh, welcome back to the land of talk radio, as if you've ever been gone.
Oh, you know, I didn't have any appointments from 10 to 12 this morning, so what the heck.
I know. No, I do look forward to your program and the sanity of same.
Don't ask too much.
I know. You were the first man that ever insulted me on talk radio. And it's been done many times since.
I feel so honored. What was the insult? Do you remember?
I remember the first time I ever called you. I woke up about, it was in the morning, far too early for me to be up and about, and I hadn't cleared my throat out, you know, and I hadn't kind of cleared like that. And you said, sir, when you regain your health, call back. Bam! I would have crawled through that telephone line. If I could have gotten hold of your neck, it would have been terrible.
And you never called back.
But oh yes, repeatedly.
Well, I do reserve the right to have bad days.
Yeah, I understand. But I've enjoyed you, and even my wife enjoys your programming, and she's not really a talk radio buff. And I wanted to say a little something about the wisdom of those Methodists. Was it Methodist or Presbyterians?
Is there a difference?
That gave Jimmy Carter. I don't think there's much difference anyway. That peace award, anybody that can get the Arabs and Jews even close to talking about peace, I think it was a great accomplishment. I think he did so with great effort. Of course, Mr. Reagan would have sent him a peacemaker bomb, and that would have settled everything, I'm sure.
You're being so unfair, and you know it. You know, that's the thing, is that you know, while you sit there saying these things for effect, you know how unfair you're being. Don't you? Now, come on, admit it.
Really, I expect that to the Russian funeral that Reagan will send B1 Dornan from California, the congressman that wanted to fight the illustrious Mr. Downey on the floor of the House.
It was a rather lousy fight, wasn't it?
It didn't turn out to be much of a scrap anyway, but...
Actually, he was just checking to see if Downing was wearing a clip-on.
Yeah, of course. I know how well you like a man when you call him a draft-dodging wimp. Downey happened to have the same problem that kept him out of the service that kept Reagan out of World War II. He had ear problems.
Well, you know, I've never called anybody a draft-dodging wimp.
No, that would be a little bit...
To their face.
Yeah, it would be a little bit bad. I almost got out of World War II myself, but then they re-examined me and found out what I took. And
well, I couldn't walk yet, so...
Immediately.
I couldn't walk yet, so I didn't make it into that one either.
Well, I'll tell you what, sometimes the timing of being born at the right time has a lot to do with it.
It can contribute to longevity, that's for sure.
Yes.
Gotta run.
But look forward to hearing you every day. I'm not going to miss a word of it.
Thank you, sir.
Right.
It's about 9 minutes until 11 o'clock. You're on WGST. Go ahead.
My mind is boggled.
Really?
Yes, about the fact that Governor Harris wouldn't automatically appoint Joyce Carter to the Public Service Commission that has just been vacated by Matt Barber. Why wouldn't that be the logical step?
Ma'am, your mind is boggled by the very fact that you ever anticipated that he would appoint Joyce Carter.
Well, it's
you didn't honestly believe that he would ever appoint Joyce Carter, did you? Tell me you didn't.
Well, I want to believe that he would do it.
Well, it is logical, but does Joe Frank show a lot of logic all the time? Did his no tax increase pledge while he was running for governor show him to be a logical politician?
But I just wonder if there is some way that we cannot point this out to this man. This woman received all those votes. Why wouldn't she automatically be appointed, Neal?
Let's talk this thing through. What party was she running on?
Republicans.
What party is Joe Frank Harris?
Democrat, but you know
who's Joe Frank?
A little bit of a weakness there of supporting the party.
Well, I know, but who's Joe Frank Harris's big buddy in the House?
Oh, Murphy, I suppose.
Okay. Now, how does Tom Murphy refer to Republicans?
Oh my, I can't repeat it on the air.
Most of it you can't, but a general term would be the enemy. Now, so one gets the idea that Joe Frank and Tom have the idea that somehow Joyce Carter or anybody that contributes to the Republican Party in one way or the other is anti-Georgian, anti-American, and probably has some other sorts of problems that they don't care to deal with. What do you expect?
Well, you see...
It would have been, you're right, ma'am, it would have been a logical thing to do. He didn't do it, and you shouldn't be surprised.
But let me say this one thing.
Very quick.
I'm really not that naive, but I just thought maybe some other people might get some letters going.
Yes. Maybe we can get some conversation on it, too.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. 10:53 at WGST.
Yes, Neal, I'm glad. Welcome to morning radio. I don't know who's going to keep Tom Houck under control.
Dick Williams.
Oh, good.
Dick Williams is far more capable of that task than I am.
Well, as long as we can keep the decibel levels down to reasonable lengths, somebody has to do it. Anyway,
you know those things that Tommy Dorsey used to stick in a trumpet to make it muted?
Uh-huh.
Well, we've got one of those now.
Good. I hope he can talk through it, if that's where you're going to put it. Now, what I called about was the article this morning on auto inspections. I'd like to get your feeling on whether we should consider renewing those. I know they were a pain in the neck, but they did seem to do some good.
Yeah, you notice how many one-eyed cars there are out in the road.
Well, I made a note 2 weeks ago. I passed 12 one-eyed cars in less than 3 miles on Memorial Drive, and that's not even extreme. You know, it's an every night occurrence.
I think that we do need auto inspection. I would suggest this one change. There ought to be state-operated inspection stations that do not do any repair at all, okay? All they do is just inspect the car and give you a certificate telling you what needs to be fixed. You are then free to go wherever you want to have it fixed. One of the things that bothered me about the old inspection program was that when you went into a service station, many times they considered the whole thing to be an economic loss unless they could stick you with some inspection costs, so I agree. Hate to cut you off early, sir, but we're running a little short on time. No, you'll bear with us. I'm going to get the hang of this.
The characters involved...
This is the Jeffrey... folks, for those of you that don't know, this is the former Green Beret, Jeffrey McDonald, who was accused of killing his wife and children, or...
No, it was his wife and a 5-year-old and a 2.5-year-old child.
And it's been in and out of appeals, and it's been quite a controversy, and the book Fatal Vision is about that incident, in case some of the callers didn't know.
Yeah, people, if they're interested in it, it's a fascinating case, a very complicated one, and I think it would be very interesting to hear Mr. McGinnis.
You hear that, Mary? That's Mary Hillbach is the one that said, Mary! I'll tell her later.
Okay, well, perhaps it would be a topic, perhaps not.
Oh, it will be, and I'll have him on if he'll come on.
Yes, first of all, Neal, I'd like to thank you for when you were on the other station for introducing me to Og Mandino's books.
Og Mandino, I have read Og Mandino's books and then just absolutely sat down and cried when I got through with them.
You can't help it.
I know it. He just brings out so much emotion in you.
It seems those books just wring it right out of you.
They really do.
And I've left them on my bookshelf because I have 4 children. They're grown. They're out of the house. Because if you hand them a book and say, this I want you to read, they won't read it. But when they have read those books, they too have been so affected by it, completely.
Makes you want to go find him wherever he is and just give him a big hug, doesn't it?
Isn't that true? I was wondering if there would be a possibility that you might have him on as a guest.
Well, the coordinator, Mary Hillbach, is giving me the thumbs up. That's when she sat me down last week and said, who would you like to have on the air? Og Mandino was one of the names that came up, and he will be a guest on the program. There is one other writer that I've been reading lately. He's got a book out now, and for some reason I keep getting a mental block on the name of the book. I think it's Bridge Across Forever.
No, I've never heard of it.
Well, it's the same guy that wrote Illusions and Jonathan Livingston Seagull, Richard Bach.
Yes, okay.
And I'm going to try to get him on also because, especially the book Illusions, I got quite a bit out of that.
Oh, wonderful. Listen, will you announce it enough in advance to have them on?
I promise you I will.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
Okay.
And I'm sure glad you're back on again.
Well, thank you. I'm going to enjoy this, and
make my week.
Well, tell your friends, you and the other 6 people out there, the farmers.
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to say that I've never lived on a farm, but certainly I can sympathize with the farmers in their situations with going bankrupt and whatnot. From reading and from watching TV, you've got situations where you've got people that have had farms in their families for generations.
Sure, I can sympathize.
I can sympathize with that, but business, by nature, is a cyclical thing, like just about everything else in life. There's good times and there's bad times. The good businesses are able to weather the bad times by creative management or whatever. Now, for the farmers to come in there and say that with the government previously paying them not to produce with your price support systems and whatnot, I think they get lazy. And
you think they get lazy?
Yeah, and once they're on that gravy train, when it comes time to pull them off, it's a very hard thing to do because they've been getting paid to do nothing for so long that it's hard. It's a hard thing to accept.
I wonder how many up around Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. I wonder how many Amish farms are going to go out of business because they overborrowed.
That's an excellent point. I know if I had a family farm, I would do just about anything I could to keep it from going bankrupt. A couple of possible things I think in U.S. News and World Report they said the average farm in acreage was 500 acres. I guess in the Midwest.
That makes my grandpa's farm awfully small.
Right. So, but they what about selling off portions of their land, or possibly starting a co-op with some of your neighbors that might not be in financially good shape? I mean, there's a lot of creative things that you can do, but like I say, they've been so used to getting paid to not produce that now it's just too late for them. They've just gotten too used to it. I'd like you to comment on that if you would.
I'm sure the farm issue is going to come up quite a bit. I understand that a lot of the people who are listening in the Atlanta area say, farm? The closest thing I got to a farm is a window box. But if you go to the local Winn-Dixie, it affects you. About 19 minutes after 11 o'clock on WGST, I'm Neal Boortz. We're going to go right back to the telephones. This one from Midtown. You're on WGST.
Yeah, hi there. How you doing?
Fine.
Let me ask you something with a change of subject here.
There isn't a subject, so anything's a change.
Change. Let's go out of reach from what's been going on. The recent sort of attack on a little kid out in Marietta by a pit bull, that killed him.
They say that pit bull weighed 85 pounds. I didn't know they got that big.
Well, they are not real big. They're just pure muscle, And, that much muscle could, I guess, weigh that much. Anyway, I'm a dog lover. I've had a dog all my life. I've had several, raised them and quite fond of them. Now, I got a question here. When does having an animal like that, even though it was chained and, a fence, of course it wasn't a very high fence, but it kills a little kid who's, as a 6-year-old, I think he was, is out to go back and pet the nice dog. And what my concern is, when does an animal such as this, when does it get to where it's too much to own one, It's not legal to own a wolf. I can't tie a wolf up in my backyard. I can't tie
I don't know that it's illegal to own a wolf.
Pardon?
I don't know that it's illegal to own a wolf. And by the way, you might find that a wolf is a far more gentle animal than a pit bull.
Probably so, but, take not the wolf so much, but say a Bengal tiger. I don't think people...
That's probably illegal.
Okay, it could kill somebody. That's the point. My point is why do people have dogs like this? I know that any dog could probably be vicious.
For protection, maybe?
Well, he's tied up in the backyard with a fence around him. What's he going to protect?
Tied up? He was chained.
Yeah, they had 2 of them, and they were chained in, within their little area. Well, what does that...
Well, there's an article in the paper this morning about it, sir, and a lot of people, for protection purposes, are actually actively seeking out the more aggressive, more vicious dogs. And maybe these people had and we're guessing, but maybe these people had a pit bull because when they're out of town or when they're out for dinner, maybe that bulldog's running loose in their house. Now, how'd you like to be the person come in through the garage door or through the bedroom window and all of a sudden have an 85-pound, highly aggravated pit bull terrier staring at you?
Well, I can understand that, but then I can also understand it with, if you want protection, a German Shepherd's a big dog and pretty protective, but far more gentle. I mean, we're talking about a dog here, this pit bull in particular. I know some Rottweilers, I think the 3 of them that attacked the little boy or a kid a few weeks ago that got away from the guy holding him, There are a lot of aggressive dogs, but we're talking about a dog who was largely bred to kill, to fight and to hang on to the neck of any creature it can grab onto until it's dead. And I can't see, I mean, it's protecting the guy's house, but how does it protect the 6-year-old kid who just sees a dog within reach? Obviously, he got over there easier. It wasn't in a cage. It was out in the open, and the kid gets over there.
I agree, sir. Something needs to be done. It's a tragic situation. I honestly, I'm quite, yes, I'm sure that there probably could be in some regard. Let us put it this way. I am sure that some court is going to have every opportunity to determine whether or not they should be held liable for that incident. 23 minutes after 11 o'clock, 231-1977, the number. Decatur, you're on WGST.
Oh, yes, Neal, I've changed my subject so many times since the other callers was talking.
I do that, too.
I don't know what I want to talk about now. But to talk about the dog fence, and I'm back to that one. I don't know. The dog, I don't know too much about the type of dogs that you all were talking about. And
they're ugly, and they're nasty.
I know that they are ugly. Myself, I have a peekapoo, and he's about a little over a year old.
I bet he bites.
Oh, he just goes on terrible when someone comes up. Well, you know, he can sit on my porch, and people can pass along the street, and he will not say a word. But let someone come up the driveway. Then he just goes, you know, and I love him so much. But you know, maybe some people do not have any business with dangerous dogs. But also, you know, what my dog is concerned, you know, if I have a fence in the yard, and I'm not going to tie him up no matter what.
I got 2 golden retrievers at home. And I'd like to get a bad dog sign and hang it on my gate or something.
Right.
But my neighbors would die laughing. The only thing that these 2 golden retrievers are going to do is get a muddy paw print on your blouse.
Well, I will not underestimate my small ones, because I have seen him get pretty mad, you know, especially with one person he did not like, you know. And the person that said, do you think he'll bite? I said, I'm not going to tell you he's not going to bite, because he has plenty of teeth in his mouth, you know. So if I had him in my yard fenced in, and some of the neighbors' kids come in and he, you know, bites one of them, I am not going to have my dog put to sleep, because I feel that people should tell their children, and I believe you can teach a child from when he's young.
That choice, yeah, you're right, but that choice may be taken away from you.
Okay, to respect the rights of other people. You know, like if I have my yard and I have my driveway fence, I have no trespassing, private, whatever. Nobody's kids not having business on my property.
You got a point. Thank you for calling. 25 minutes after 11 o'clock, and you can donate your spare time volunteering with the American Red Cross in your community. They need people to work on blood drives in offices and on local disasters. Orientation and training are provided. If you got a few hours to spare, you can volunteer by calling 881-9800. Stone Mountain, what have you got on your mind today?
Neal, thank you for having your own program. I like you when you were with Tom on Counterpoint. That's good.
Tom will probably drop by every once in a while just to keep me honest.
He'll say night, you'll say day. He says wrong, you say right. That's good. My question...
Kind of makes you wonder what he'd do if I came out for motherhood.
Hopefully you or some of the other listeners who may be a bit more informed than myself or the rest of the general public here in Atlanta with regards to the very controversial Presidential Parkway. Number one, I'm in favor, let's say, of a library. Nobody would be against a library because everybody wants to learn more.
Carter Library?
Well, if it has some sort of, as they say, lasting and intrinsic value for the good of the country or for the state of Georgia, yes. If not, then move it back to, or build it in Plains, Georgia, which probably where it should have been built to begin with. The road, maybe, if it really needs to be, but we haven't completed 285 and 85 and 75, and yet the DOT says we've got to have this road, which can destroy the neighborhoods, and they still haven't said that it's going to be built.
I'm beginning to believe it's not going to be built.
Okay. My real question is, if the library is so vital and so important to the areas, to Atlanta,
yeah,
and it has to be accessible, quote unquote, those were Jimmy Carter's real needs. The library has to be built, and in order for it to be effective, it had to be accessible. He said we needed to have this road. Okay. If it
now hurry up and finish your thought, because we're running a little tight on time here.
If it had to be so accessible and the land has to be so cheap, Why not build it right downtown near Renaissance Park? You know, at the corner of Argonne and North Avenue.
No, it will. Why not put it in the Omni?
That land either probably belongs to the DOT, Fulton County, City of Atlanta, and they probably could have gotten it at a bargain basement price at no charge to, or little charge to anybody, disrupted no neighborhoods. The land is already vacant. You can put in foundations, and away we go. We've got a library right behind Krispy Kreme. Get your donuts and go to the library at the same time. I want to know, though.
A thinking man, thinking man.
Why?
Sir, I'm sorry. I think we've got the essence of your thought. It's a good one. I don't know why they couldn't put it in the Omni. 28 minutes after 11 o'clock here at WGST. I'm sure you carry a lot of insurance, don't you? Automobile insurance, hazard insurance on the house, this, that, and the other thing. And when your house isn't burning down, and when your car isn't plowing into other cars, and when you aren't dying, and when you aren't sick, you think that you're throwing away a lot of money on insurance. And when we're not in a war, when we don't have people attacking us physically, then we get the idea that we're throwing away a lot of money on military spending.
Yes, I'm glad that you feel that way, because I'm a Navy veteran of 30 years there, and was sunk once in off of Guadalcanal in 42, and then was in 2 other ships that was hit, and we sustained quite a few injuries there. I'm for defense, but I feel that, I believe the same as you, that somebody tried to pull the rug out from under us on a couple of things, and maybe we don't know all that was involved in it there.
No.
It does annoy me.
Well, it's time to get a grip on some of these ridiculous expenditures. $600 toilet seats.
Isn't that the truth?
But you know, look what OSHA was getting ready to do to us. You remember the big OSHA thing on commode seats, don't you?
Well,
This was 10 years ago.
I don't remember that, but
OSHA came out with a regulation that said that any business that didn't have a certain type of seat on their water closets, i.e. the open front type, would be subject to a $1,000 fine. Maybe they were just trying to gather the money there to buy these $600 toilet seats at a later date.
Well, they were thinking ahead. Now then, a little something, a little something on the lighter side.
You know, in my old days, I'd have cut you off right there.
Well, something a little on the lighter side. My wife and I have had the opportunity to meet you on 2 or 3 occasions, and there's something I will bring up, because you one time, well, on several occasions, I think, emceed some programs for the great and late Bob Wills there out in Texas.
Yes, I did.
The Great Western Swing Band.
Yes, I did.
And I'm a great fan of his. I've got a real nice tape of one of the last interviews with Bob Wills there, and if you would like to have it, we would be pleased to make you one.
Yeah, I want some of his music, too. San Antonio Rose.
Yep.
Yeah. I have to admit to being a great fan of country music, much to the total dismay of my daughter.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Bob Wills, I think... Well, I will rephrase that. I know, because I'm an old duffer. I'm 63 years old, and I grew up...
Gosh, that old?
I grew up with the Bob Wills Band and the Big Swing Band, and we were home ported in San Diego in 41 during the highlight of the big bands, and it just so happens that during the time that we were home ported there before we went back out to Pearl, why, Bob Wills... Benny Goodman, Tommy Dorsey, Artie Shaw, and those bands were playing at different times out at one of the piers in San Diego.
That's where you got your indoctrination?
And then Bob Wills was in there, and Bob Wills outdrew all of them. No, I became a Bob Wills fan as far back as probably 1932 or 33, because there was a guy from my neck of the woods that played rhythm guitar for him. Of course, had a lot of people played many instruments for him. Both of them are not living anymore.
Well, listen, we're going to move on to some more calls, but you be sure to call back.
Yeah, I want to call your office and get the number there, and I'll be glad to make that tape.
You're going to have to get the number there before you call my office. Did that occur to you?
Well, I was going to look it up through the telephone directory there, unless you want to give it to me.
Oh, no. No. If I wouldn't want to give it out over the air. I think it might be a little bit improper.
I don't think that was proper, so I will find a way to do it.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Take care.
Okay, 231-1977, 22 minutes until 12 o'clock. Nice day today. It's already 70 degrees, and the high is going to be in the mid-70s, and some of us have to be tied up in offices, which is awfully distressing. Southwest Atlanta, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Good morning, Neal. I'm going to miss you with Tom, but it's great to have you two guys two separate times of the day.
I enjoyed those days with Tom. I really did.
Right. Well, I want to address this Moreland, Commissioner Moreland, and these roads.
Uh-huh.
Now, the folks up on Ponce de Leon do not want to have the Presidential Parkway built. Fine, no problem with that. I live on Campbellton Road. When it rains, we have a river out here. When the bus comes, you can't get down the street. It takes you 5 minutes to get 2 inches down the street. We need a wider road here. Why doesn't he come over on the southwest and improve these roads where people would gladly have them improved?
You know, if he did, maybe you could get more commercial and industrial development down there.
About that. And develop the south side.
I see your point. I agree with you, but also South Side community leaders need to understand that in order for the development to move down there, they have to get the cooperation of the citizens in the neighborhoods to make the area more appealing to developers, and sometimes it just isn't very appealing now, is it?
Well, you've got one candidate willing and ready to work right here, and I'm sure that I am not an oddball. There are a lot of people over here who would gladly do it.
No, I'm the only oddball around right now. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, have a good day.
Bye-bye. 20 minutes till 11 o'clock. Irwin Schiff is going to be our guest for a while tomorrow at 10:15 in honor of tax time. April 15th, of course, being the deadline for filing your individual income tax returns. It'll be fun to catch up with Irwin Schiff. The last I heard, he was in jail. Obviously, he's not still in jail, or we wouldn't be talking with him tomorrow. But we'll spend a few minutes with him and find out what the latest is in the great tax protest movement. Southwest Atlanta, you're on WGST. I got to remember the call letters, Mike, don't I?
Good morning, Neal.
Yes, ma'am.
I have an observation to make. Why not locate the Presidential Library in Plains, Georgia, or Americus? Then the Parkway would not be needed at all.
Well, wouldn't you be... Well, you think how long it would take you to drive down there when you wanted to do some of your research?
Well, you know, if people don't want something, then take it where the people do want it, and it would be very well needed and accepted.
Does it occur to you that, of course, some people are concerned and upset that Billy Carter's service station did not get on the National Register of Historic Places? Maybe if they were to take the Presidential Library and put it in Billy Carter's service station down there in Plains, you know, they could get it on their register somehow.
Yeah, maybe, but then I'm thinking about the Truman Library. We drove all the way out to Missouri to see to witness that, and I think that people would come from far and near to see that, so this would be Plains and America's gain if Atlanta doesn't want it.
Well, what about, have you ever been to Austin, seen the LBJ Library in Austin?
No, I haven't, but I'm thinking about going next summer.
Oh, by the way, you'll love Austin.
Uh-huh.
Austin is one of the most beautiful, livable cities in the country, because Willie Nelson lives there. But the Presidential Library does an awful lot for that community.
I just imagine. That's why I was thinking it would do a tremendous for Plains or Americas.
Well, okay. Give that some thought.
All right.
And I got one other idea, and I've been suggesting this for quite a few weeks. Just take the Jimmy Carter Library and stick it in double wide. You know, you can haul those things around the expressways now, and they could just take it all over Georgia and the Southeast, and everybody could get a chance to see it.
We didn't really have much to say about it in the neighborhood planning process, and kind of just came and was ramrodded right through here. But now...
What about the poor people that had their property taken for the construction of that road?
Well, what about those people? The folks in the Old Fourth Ward are saying there's no development, this road will bring development. Well, the reason there's nothing there is because they wiped it all out with this road back 15 years ago.
I think they ought to give those people the opportunity to reclaim their land.
Well, that, by law, is what would happen if the highway wasn't built. The original owners have to be the first ones to have a right to purchase their property back.
I did not realize that there was any regulation to that effect.
Yeah, that's what happened over at the old 485 area over in Virginia Highland, the areas north of Ponce de Leon.
Well, this fight over the Presidential Parkway is going to be a cakewalk compared to the upcoming fight we're going to have on the extension of Georgia 400 into the Lenox Square area.
That's another battle, another battlefront, definitely. I think it's real important. What's a real strange connection in all this is Michael Bower's connection with Tom Moreland. Here you have the Attorney General for the state of Georgia, who supposedly represents the people of Georgia, at the same time sitting there saying that this road will be built. It's just a matter of who's going to build it. And
Now, who said that?
Mike Bowers.
Well, I didn't think it would have been his position to say that the road was going to be built. Isn't that Moreland's position?
Well, that's what I would have thought, but evidently, as Attorney General, he represents also the Department of Transportation. So here you have, you really don't have anybody representing the people in this case, and here we are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars hiring attorneys to try to fight a battle against the most powerful person in the state, and definitely the most powerful bureaucracy. And you know, we're calling now for investigations.
Do you feel alone? Now, let's...
Not anymore.
Well, now, think about it. Okay, you've got some legal decisions that seem to be on your side. But there are people that are listening to us from all over the city of Atlanta right now. We got some people that live in Chastain Park, Dunwoody. We've been getting phone calls throughout the 2 hours here from all over the city. I live in Tucker. The only reason that the Presidential Parkway means anything to me at all is because it is a topic of conversation for talk radio. Now, you in Inman Park and some of the others over there in Midtown and in-town neighborhoods and along the Parkway route, it's a big deal to you, but really, does it ever bother you that the rest of the state really doesn't care?
Well, I think the rest of the state should care because it's taxpayer money that's paying for this road.
And it's a very expensive road.
It's one of the more expensive roads around. And the taxpayer is going to really shell out the big money for this thing. And we're all affected by that. I think everybody, and like the woman from Southwest was saying, the people in other parts of the state are crying for road repairs. There's still dirt roads in this state. And you're not finishing the interstates. There's a lot of things that need to be done. And I think that the other day, I mean, the tide is turning. I don't feel alone anymore. I feel like there's some, well, I always felt there was opposition to this road. People just weren't aware of the facts.
Well, you're right about tide turning.
Yeah, the tide has turned, and I think, I believe Bill Shipp today in his newspaper article in the Constitution wrote an article opposing the road. So that was a big turn.
Well, call us back. We're going to squeeze in a few more before I say bye-bye.
Okay.
Thanks for calling. 13 minutes now until 12 o'clock on WGST. We got a payphone on Holcomb Bridge Road that wants to talk to us. Go ahead.
Oh, good morning, Neal. I guess the last caller kind of helped me get this thing in perspective here. When you said the fact that, you know, who cares about it other than the areas that are impacted, I really think you ought to take a look at.
Do you live up there around Holcomb Bridge?
No, well, I live in Northeast Cobb.
Okay.
And tell you the truth, till about 2 weeks ago, I didn't give a pound of panda poop about that road. Well, now it's gotten to the point that obviously special interests are involved, and well, the tentacles of power, and it's being pushed through against the people's will.
Against the will of the people in that particular neighborhood, or against the will of the people of Georgia in general?
Well, it's the ones that are being impacted that will have the you know. Well, it's kind of really hard to say.
But the property was taken years ago for the purpose of building a roadway. It was going to be an expressway at one point. Don't you remember back in the last century when we were worried that the lights on the expressway were going to interfere with the telescope at the Fernbank Observatory? And now all they're asking...
Been down here that long.
Yeah, now they're asking for a parkway with some bike paths. It could. I haven't really paid that much attention to the plans, but it could turn out to be quite lovely.
Well, my point is that evidently the people that are involved with pushing this thing through are going against, it's my opinion, and I may be wrong, but it's obviously against the will of the people. And they're supposedly elected for serving the will of the people, and they're obviously serving one person or a few people, and one of them is Jimmy Carter, and his tentacles of power obviously, you know, stretch through the government. Now, one of the questions that I have, or thing that made me think about this a little bit more, is that the conspicuous absence of Carter's presence at all to say anything about this to try and justify it.
Well, I don't know that his absence has been all that conspicuous. His personal absence, I guess. But
that's correct.
We all know he's been working behind the scenes, or we can at least safely assume that.
Of course. Well, that's all I had to say.
Thank you.
And thank you.
Appreciate it. 11 minutes now until 12 o'clock WGST time. 231-1977, the number from the North Lake area. You're on WGST.
Yes, Neal.
Uh-huh.
Glad to hear your voice again.
Thank you.
you just, the last caller, you enlightened him a little bit about how long this right-of-way for, it's been bought for most of this road. We're talking about the Presidential Parkway.
Wasn't it about in the 70s?
Bought when?
In the 70s.
No, sir. And I'm not pro-Carter. So, you know, I'm not trying to push the library. But this road has been bought, most of the right-of-way has been bought for over 30 years.
Well, I'll accept what you're saying, sir, but I can vividly remember a lot of the controversy over the condemnation of various plots of ground and various homes.
The fact that it was bought for over 30 years because I worked in that area, and at that time, it was cleared out.
Might be true. I don't know. I just hate to see, I think we ought to stop calling it the Great Park. We should start calling it the Great Kudzu Patch, or whatever it is, the Great Plot of Condemned Land. You know, maybe the thing that concerns me the most about it. And as a host of a talk show, this is something that's got to be of primary concern to me. And if you people think I'm wrong, you tell me. Yes, Jimmy Carter's in the middle of it. Yes, they're trying to build a library. The library will probably be good for the city of Atlanta. In fact, the library will probably do a lot more for the city of Atlanta than Jimmy Carter ever did when he was president. And the parkway, some people say it's necessary and essential. Other people say it is not. The bottom line to me, though, is that it's makes for dull conversation. How many things can you say about the parkway? Now, back when Harry Beadle was going through the records and doing some great investigative reporting on the role of Marvin Arrington et al., yes, very interesting conversation. But right now, I'm afraid it just kind of gets on the boring side after a while. 3-1-1977, 8.5 minutes now until 12 o'clock on WGST. 231-1977 is the number, and we've got time to squeeze in a few more phone calls, so give us a call. Payphone, go ahead.
Yes, I was wondering if anybody ever brought up the idea of moving Jimmy Carter Library to Stone Mountain Park.
That's right. Why?
Well, you wouldn't need a parkway, and I think George Stone, the park, could use the business too, if you've been out there lately.
I have. I've always wondered why they didn't get Six Flags out there at Stone Mountain. Then I wondered why they didn't put the Atlanta Zoo out there at Stone Mountain.
I think it'd solve a lot of problems, especially downtown.
I don't know. Do you think you'll ever go into the Jimmy Carter Library? Think about it, folks. Will you ever go there? Who is going to go there? Is it somebody brought a note in here a while ago and put it down in front of me that more people are going to go in and out of an average Kroger in one day than are going to go in and out of the Jimmy Carter Library in 1 week. Sadly, that's probably true. East Cobb, you're on WGST.
Yeah, Neal, this is the first time I've called in on GST at all, except on Saturday. I'm an avid listener.
What happens on Saturday?
Well, I call in on the
Lawn and Garden.
Lawn and Garden show. It's a good show. And I also like Counterpoint very much, and that was what my comment was based on. I'm not sure whether this is the time and place, but I wanted to go ahead and say it because I've called in a couple of times to your executive offices and made a complaint or two, and I wanted to air it with you.
Well, if it's about me, go ahead.
No, it's not about you, but I'd rather go ahead and say it.
Well, you're not going to use me for a forum to shoot down somebody else, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm just going to voice a complaint, and that is, and I'm not taking a personal shot because your show Counterpoint, to me, represents the very word says that there's going to be a difference of opinion. The problem I have is with the opposing person, the person that opposes you. That person has got their finger on a button, apparently, or somebody there does, and if he doesn't like what's being said, he overrules them, shuts them off, and all this, and they never really get to say what they want to say. I understand that occasionally tempers are going to be high and all this.
Makes for good programming.
Right, yeah, it does. But when it becomes a rule as opposed to an exception for this person to do that, now, I understand that everybody's interrupted somebody sooner or later. But when it becomes a rule of thumb where this individual, Mr. Houck, continues to shut people off and interrupt them or yell louder than they do and constantly reflect a very rude attitude.
Well, what you haven't realized is that on most of those days, when you thought that I was on the air with Tom Houck,
right,
it was really me doing both voices. I can do a Tom Houck imitation that you cannot believe.
Okay.
And if you don't believe it, excuse me, if you don't, now listen to this.
I'm Tom Houck.
Oh,
how's that?
That's very good.
I know. I've been working on that. I've been working on that Houck imitation, and usually some of the nastier things that Houck will do on the air is really me. Like, if I was going to play Houck and get upset with you, here is pretty much how I'd handle it.
Neil, you're really crazy. I mean, I just can't believe you're doing what you're doing today. You haven't said anything that made any sense in the first 2 hours. How do you expect to last the first week?
See?
That's very good.
Now, okay, so you all the time thought that was actually Houck giving me a hard time on the air. No, it was me.
What?
Yeah, because I knew that it was good for the programming.
Well, the synopsis of my point is, I love Counterpoint. The fact is, I know there's going to be differences of opinions. It's the way in which this gentleman handles it that upsets me.
Well, you see, that's what I was trying to point. It was actually me. I was actually playing both roles there, and I think that now that I'm not going to be on in the afternoon anymore, it was time to go ahead and divulge that. This truck. Now, this is one of these big Peterbilts or something like that, right? And since it was being towed, it was going down the expressway backwards, and you couldn't see the tow truck in front of it. So from way on down the road, all it looked like was, oh, my goodness, there's a truck in the wrong side of the expressway, and it is going the wrong way. Well, the passenger in the car with me was not paying attention to what's going on. They're sitting down reading, doing their nails, looking for a nail that fell off, so I glue it back on again, something like that. And all of a sudden, they look up, and they see this truck coming. It's right in front of them, 20 feet. They don't know it's going the other way. And you have never seen the kind of mess we had to clean up in that car. They got to do something about towing these trucks the wrong way on the expressways like that.
I just came back from downtown, and there was no traffic on the streets. But it took me 20 minutes just to get out of downtown because of the damn lights. It's ridiculous. I mean, I don't know why we...
Why weren't you on an expressway?
Because we don't have an expressway coming out to Decatur. You know...
I got an idea. Let's build one.
That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I know. Well, you don't expect synchronized lights around here. There is a light. My offices are out at my law office is out at the North Lake Mall area, okay? And to get to my offices, you have to turn off of North Lake Parkway on the outside of the perimeter where it just makes a sharp turn. And there is an exit at that stoplight, that traffic light, for another office building that's occupied by a bunch of telephone types, okay? Sunday morning at 6:30, if I wake up and decide I want to go to my office building and just do some work before the rest of the family arises, I got to sit there at that traffic light and wait while it spends 30 seconds on green for this office building. Now, you think the city of Atlanta's bad at adjusting traffic lights. You ought to go out and visit some of the traffic engineers in DeKalb County.
Yeah, tell me about it. I live out here.
It's incredible. But, you know, everybody's got to have a job, and I guess they take some of the people that couldn't do anything else and make them traffic engineers.
Must be.
Thanks for calling.
Okay.
Well, we're going to catch a lot of flack from the traffic engineers now, I'm sure. Good News Network Incorporated. They say the public is demanding good news, yet the industry refuses to listen, claiming it will not sell. And GNN's purpose is to counter negative news with positive news, where people help each other on a daily basis. And to that I say, is anybody going to listen? And we've got somebody from GNN on right now. Introduce yourself, please.
Well, good morning, Neil. I'm Carol Forbes. I'm the president of the Good News Network. And yes, people are listening.
Well, first of all, what is the Good News Network? Is it cable? Is it radio? Is it a feature presentation for radio? What is the network itself?
All right. Well, I used to be a congressional counsel in the House of Representatives for years. I've been in politics for 15 years.
Goodness, you're a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Another lawyer in broadcasting.
Well, you know, my idea was to always keep people away from the courts and to create other ways to solve the problems. And in politics, you can do that. So at a certain point, though, Washington was a milieu and a center and a focal point and a fulcrum for all the news and information as we just exploded into the microcircuit age. And I saw that most of the data coming through, whether it was to my members or whether it was to the public, was negative. So having been on the Hill, as they say, and then went out and was a quote-unquote lobbyist, at a certain point I said, hey, there's something I can do to help share with people that our world is not all bad. And I was just really reflecting, Neil, what people were saying on the street. You know, anecdotal evidence says we are sick and tired of the negative news. But most people say they're not in charge of it, they don't feel they have any power over changing it, and that they have to take it. So I said, hey, I think I can help. And at that point, I established the Good News Network and went on the road for 6 months taking stories and proving the concept out, and settled our corporate offices down here in sunny Florida.
I would, too, if I had a choice.
Yes, well, you see, because we're going into radio first, and we're going to be presenting 90-second actualities sponsored by a major corporation to the radios for free. And at that point, you know, we removed one of the major obstacles of radio programming, which is, do we have the money?
Yeah.
And then in 2 years...
You're telling me.
Yes, and then in 2 years we're going into television, and then by our 5th year we're going to go into the print media in terms of direct mail, and then, you know, we'll go global.
Well,
every culture has good news.
Let me take up the devil's advocate position with you, Carol, if I might.
Of course, I'll be your angel today.
Okay, that's good. Everybody needs one. I've been practicing law for about 8 years, but prior to that, I did talk shows, put myself through law school doing talk shows. I've got maybe 12 or 15 years of talk show experience and commentaries and what have you. Negative sells. Negative generates conversation. Negative gets people to get on the telephones and call. Negative, in my experience on talk radio, I would much rather have dealt with positive subjects, you know, like what happened good to you this day. Now, last week, on Thursday of last week, I said, call up with your gripes. That's negative.
Right.
Phone calls were blocked out. The next day, I said, what good happened to you this week? And people sat out there with their teeth in their mouth.
I know that's one of the dichotomies that people are trying to understand. And if you look over the last 20 years, there has been a lot, particularly since the end of the Vietnam War, when they realized that the news media did have an impact on the length of that war. There is an answer. And it's very interesting to look at it very deeply now. Negative news is an addiction. The researchers, Professor Jack Haskins from the University of Tennessee in Knoxville, Professor and Dr. Isink, Campbell's, Teeger, a bunch of them have over the last 15 and 20 years have, in these schools of both medicine and journalism, have finally come to understand that if I give you 10 negative messages, when the 11th one hits your brain, believe it or not, they can wire your brain up, Neil. When I give you the 11th negative message...
I'm pretty well wired anyway.
I know, but when I say to you, you're awful, you're tacky, you're terrible, our world is rotten, when the 11th one hits you, you are going to react just like you did on the other 10. And if I say to you 10 positive messages, you're good, you're positive, our world is fine, we help each other, when I give you the 11th one, your brain, believe it or not, releases endorphins, and it releases good feelings and the desire to help one another. Now, there's so much work being done in what we call the mind-brain area,
right,
that they have now understood that the news media is actually part of the problem by saying you need more negative messages so that the audience can react within the necessary 5 seconds to hold your attention, since they're compressing time so greatly in this day of exploding information.
When are your features going to start becoming available for radio stations?
In June of this year, we're going to go on the air in June. But if you understand, Neil, what I'm saying about the addiction...
Oh, I do.
Then the audience can understand why they go to that dial and they keep turning it on, and every time they keep turning it on in a reactive, addictive sense, then that gives the news manager the seeming mandate.
I prefer...
We can go ahead and give you more blood and gore. And yet, if you go out on the street and talk to people and just, ask your neighbors, and they say, we are sick of being overwhelmed with this. So we're an answer. We're just a reflective answer.
Do you ever play around with computers, Carol?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I used to be counsel for the House of Representatives Computer Committee.
Okay, now you know then, you're talking in terms of addictions. May I present the same argument to you in terms of programming? That people are programmed to react to negative statements or negative input, but they are not programmed so much to react to positive.
I know, except when it overwhelms them. At a certain point, particularly, I'd say in the last 5 years, with the Iranian situation and the oil situation and the flare-ups around the world in the trouble spots, remember, people at a certain point started to articulate this. And that's all we're doing. We're just saying we're going to help you overcome your addiction. We're going to help you understand it, and then leave the choice to you.
When you start putting it on radio, I know that you'll that you will send me or our coordinator, Mary Hillbach, a sample of one of these features so we can see what it sounds like when it goes on.
Like to, Neal, very much, very much. But we're so tickled pink with the support that we've gotten from, number one, the talk shows, number two, the callers that call in, number three, the subscribers to the Good News Network, and number four, to the public. You know, everybody, I can document it, hook, line, and sinker.
Carol, we'll have you on again and talk about it when things really start rolling.
Neal, thank you.
Thank you very much, Carol. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Carol Forbes, she's the president of the Good News Network, Inc., and as if to underline what I told her, if we had had the president of Bad News Network, Inc., I would have more phone calls here than I could deal with. But this gal sounded nice and was dealing with good news. And you people are out there cleaning your refrigerator or your nails or what have you. Just recently, there were some news films, and I think that this might have been Friday night that I saw this, about a strike that had been settled in the northeastern or the eastern United States. I believe, in fact, I'm sure it involved the United Mine Workers. And there were a lot of people who were going by the picket lines to work in these particular mines. Now, this film that I saw, for those of you that detect that I am not a real promoter of unionism, maybe this will give you an idea why. These films that I saw depicted, the films were shot from inside of a car, obviously, because you could see the windshield and the radio antenna and the dashboard and the windshield wipers and all of that. So it was shot from inside the car. And it showed these picketers, these union members, these mindless blobs, throwing rocks and what have you at trucks and cars that were trying to get by the picket line and into the work site. At one particular point, the whole union movement was just vividly demonstrated by a film of some overweight, bearded redneck type walking down a line of cars with a baseball bat in his hand. He obviously was one of the striking miners, okay? And he comes upon the car that has, from which they are doing the filming. Surreptitiously, I guess. You really couldn't see the camera in there. And as he walks by this car, he just takes the baseball bat and swings it and takes off the radio antenna. And then somebody else comes by and breaks out the windshield. And now there they got him. They got a perfect picture of him doing damage to this person's property. Now, I don't know what is going to happen. I would love to see the owner of that car take that film, identify that person, and swear out a warrant for his arrest and prosecute him to the full extent of the law. But the point that I'm trying to get across is this is the way that I view unions. Now, that's probably unfair, you may argue, but a union to me is a collection of people who do not feel that they are capable of negotiating for themselves or for standing up for their own rights, that they have to engage in mob rule. This was mob rule that we saw at this UMW strike. Several years ago, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms released a study on the illegal use of explosive devices in the United States. And they disclosed, I've said this before on the air, they disclosed that the number one illegal use of explosives in the United States is in the area of union-related, strike-related violence. And until union leaders can get a hold of these thugs and goons like the ones we saw on TV last week, and tell them that violence will not be tolerated in strike situations of any type, violence against the employer's property, violence against people who decide that they're going to work anyway, until union leaders are capable of controlling this type of violence, then I think that unions are going to continue to decline in membership. They are going to continue to decline in public esteem. and hopefully someday would reach the extinct position that they so richly deserve. I get so infuriated when I see some jerk like that go along with a baseball bat and just start destroying somebody's property because he's a union member and he's on strike. And if he's on strike, everybody's got to do what he wants to do. Freedom, forget it. If you don't agree with me, I'm going to take my baseball bat because I'm a big macho union member and I'm going to break your windshield out with it. What a bunch of low-rent jerks. 14 minutes until 12 o'clock. And you're on WGST. Go ahead. From Lenox Square.
Oh, I'm on. Okay.
You're on. Okay.
I don't ordinarily call, Neal, but I've listened to you time and time again. And when you started talking about that baseball bat thing, I thought he's got to have the same feeling I've got the way he's saying this thing.
Did you see it on TV, too?
No, I was out of town over the weekend. But I felt like this. I'm retired. But I felt like if I couldn't, with my own integrity and my own abilities, do my job and not have to have somebody back up for me, and protect me and so forth, it was no good.
Well, evidently the average, or these union members that are out there in the picket lines, they must know that they are not smart enough and capable enough to provide for themselves.
To quit somewhere.
Yeah.
And I know John L. Lewis may have helped those poor miners back during the Depression years, but that's more than served its time.
Well, unions are on the way out just because of morons like the one that we saw on TV last week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Well, I just wanted to tell you amen to that, and I enjoy listening to you so much.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. See, I do get upset about things once in a while, and one of the things is mindless Neanderthals like the one that was on TV. I'm so glad the networks put things like that on TV, because it really shows unions for what they are.
I have found myself over the years agreeing with you, but recently I've run into a situation at my job here in Atlanta where our company, first of all, after being with the company for around 7 years and have only 3 more years before vested for retirement, the company decides that they do not want to do anything else for their employees as far as money or any kind of raises or anything like that. I'm wondering, and the union situation didn't offer any solution to the problem. I'm just wondering what kind of recourse do people have when companies become insensitive to their employees?
You want the blunt answer?
Yeah.
Just the blunt answer is that is a problem that you bought the day you decided you were going to place your security, your employment security, with somebody else.
You're exactly right. I realize that now, but like I say, once you put in so much time with a company, it's increasingly difficult to break away.
Oh, I know it is. I realize that, and I can see the positive aspects of unionism. But I also recognize, we have had attempts in Congress to make violence on the picket line a federal crime. And you know who fights that the hardest?
No.
The unions.
Yeah, right.
The very idea that you would make union-related violence a federal crime sends unions into fits of paranoia.
Well, my problem with it also is the fact that when I went to some of the meetings, I kept hearing, and I happen to be conservative, I kept hearing a lot of the blame for the problems we were having placed on the Reagan administration and the Reagan board and all the other Reagan situations. I got sick of that.
Sure, it's always easy to blame the problems on those in power at the current time. 231-1977, 7 minutes now until 12. You're on WGST.
Yeah, Neal, I had to get out of a shower to give you a call on this union thing.
A little late in the morning to be taking a shower, isn't it?
That's none of your concern, my friend. What I'm telling you is you hit...
Got to get back to the office again, huh?
Right, I got to go check. I'm not a union member. Oh, watch it. No. The reason, there was a reason for the unions, sweatshops, etc. in the old days. I think there's an argument to be made now, Neal, that they're running the industries that they're involved with and causing the consumers to pay exorbitant amount of money for these products. And prices are up. I mean, you hit it. The violence is one thing.
Yeah.
But I think that's a small piece of the pie. I think the damage to society is far-reaching.
I think it is, too. I am, again, no economist, but I would imagine that one of the main reasons for the unbelievable automobile prices that we've got these days
Correct.
is unions.
Yeah, well, now, okay, we've established this. Now, what do you do, Neil? You say they're going out, the society's going to beat up the unions and send them back to Never Never Land.
One of the things you do is to make union violence a federal crime.
Okay, yeah.
But the unions don't want that.
No.
They fight it tooth and nail.
Sure they do. They're sheep. Sheep leading sheep.
Yeah, respect. The glory that comes with being a successful practitioner of the law.
Glory?
Well, yeah, people think, well, if they know lawyers well, if they know what they go through, they know what they do, it is fine to be a lawyer. And, but you have to pay the price. You've paid the price. My sister paid the price. I've done pretty well, but as a salesman, I've been on the outside selling and I've done quite well.
And you probably enjoy it a great deal.
It's more for my personality than sitting in briefing cases and shepherdizing cases, research for hours and hours.
Copy that.
But that's the price that you pay, and I admire you. I've followed you ever since you came to Atlanta.
You know, I've been here almost 18 years.
I remember the first day that you were on as a trial. Correct me, please. Was it with Hank Morgan?
1969.
Did you appear on his program?
Yeah.
And I was driving home, and I was listening, and I was waiting for that station to come on the air because I've always liked this type of format. And I followed you. I'm with you sometime, against you sometime. But I think that you're a fine radio person. At first, I was disappointed that you were going into law. But then I felt that you should have something to do where there's human contact, human emotions, relations.
Well, I'll tell you what. I've got it set up just exactly the way I want it right now, and it's something that you remember way back in September of 1969 when I sat in there for an hour with Hank Morgan one morning, and that started all of this nonsense. There's other people that would just as soon forget it, I'm sure.
I know, but your disposition has become a lot more pleasant.
Well, that's nice. Thank you for saying that. Just don't have stickers on them.
Can I get one?
I'll just, I'll pass them out, and then, they detonate. But that infuriates. That's another subject. We'll get onto that. I'll tell you what I did.
Anyway, I have spinal cord problem. But getting back to the mayor's problem, or he's trying to make it a problem, I think that all of the test scores should be put in these men's personnel files and should never be removed unless under court order.
Why?
Because I think it should be known who scored what and when.
Oh, I see. You're not saying that the score should be hidden. You're saying that the score should be put out there for God and everybody to see.
That's right. And then anybody on the freedom of information, if they have to go that far, they can get it. Now, this going back where we still owe because of the years that they were this way or that way, maybe I should sue my parents. I had 11 brothers and 2 sisters.
Yeah.
I didn't have enough sisters.
Barely had it. Well, what did you...
I should sue their estate.
What did you need more sisters for?
Well, I didn't get a good mix.
I got plenty of sisters. You want some?
Yeah. I think I should have had it. It should have been about 6 and 5 or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't think what the mayor's doing holds water.
Well, I wanted to take illegal action out against my parents because they did not raise me in the North where I could have, at an early age, started skating and have become, and then I would have become a National Hockey League all-star defenseman.
Oh, but of course.
But, they raised me in places like Texas and Florida where the most ice you ever saw was in my mother's martini.
That's good, too. Now,
in moderation.
On tax assessors.
Okay, very quick, because I've got a bail.
Who is responsible, ultimately, for the taxes being changed?
The board of tax assessors, sir. There is nobody else that can take that blame. Let's get through these calls real quick, go into the news. This one from Midtown, what's on your mind?
Yes, Neil. I'm just calling because I just would like to say that it kind of bothers me sometimes when you and your callers in or your listeners take so lightly the atrocities that have happened years ago, and you feel like...
Why do you think we're taking them lightly?
Well, because you kind of laugh and joke about it and say, well, that was yesterday and this is today. But you have to... I think what you all have to do is stop and understand that you build a foundation, and then comes, the first floor, second floor, third floor, but the foundation is always there.
I understand that, sir, and I understand the atrocities, and I do not approve of what went on any more than you do. The thing is that I take no personal responsibility for it.
Exactly right. Exactly right. But see, you and other people are in a position because of those where you are now decision makers, and because of that, today laws are in place to help you decision makers make decisions today.
Let me do this. Let me do this, if I might, sir.
Okay.
I want to discuss this with you at length.
Okay.
Right now, I've got the constraints of the clock. It isn't even my decision.
Okay.
So I want you to hold the subject. Okay. You pick a time next week when we're in open lines. You call me back, and we'll go through this thing.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah. And it almost has that same sour grapes to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I'm married to a teacher, and if you think this is something with the city of Atlanta, just wait till they start the statewide testing, because you're going to run into the same situation there.
Why do teachers get so upset at the idea that they ought to take a test?
I have no idea. It seems it's like admitting incompetence. I get tested. People get tested. You get tested daily on your job.
Boy, isn't that the truth?
What's that?
I said, isn't that the truth?
Yeah, and it seems to me that if you don't, it's like the old saying, it may be an oversimplification, but if you don't have anything to hide, what are you afraid of?
I should talk, though, because as an attorney, I am required to complete a certain number of hours of additional education every year, okay, called continuing legal education. But there is no testing on that. I'm not required to sit down and go through any more tests. So, I don't know, maybe I can understand why the teachers are upset, but then their business is giving tests, isn't it? We'll be back with more telephone calls, talking about the Atlanta police promotions. If you're on the line, stay there. Won't be long at all. 231-1977 is the number.
Have determined it's necessary knowledge to become a police lieutenant. I don't want somebody that can't pass that test becoming a police lieutenant.
I'll go along with you, sir. I will. We'll probably have more discussion on that. John? John Kramer's in here, folks.
LaGrange. Oh, that's where it's printed. Okay.
LaGrange. I'm looking at
USA Today.
Wednesday, March 13th, 1985, LaGrange, Georgia.
Well, that's where it comes from.
Well, can you tell me where I can get the Wall Street Journal? It comes from New York.
That's the same one, supposedly.
They got a stock market in LaGrange. I mean,
nice to see you.
I didn't know that we had such a hot thing going on over there in LaGrange. They got the Wall Street Journal there now.